neighborhood of Keyport, New Jersey. Check out the St. Patrick's Day Parade, March 25th. It's being sponsored by the Knights of Columbus off of 35 in Keyport. We will be part of that as Damage 365 Radio and 365 Promotions will have a vehicle in there dressed in Damage colors and, of course, St. Patrick's Day colors. We'll be throwing out some promo items to the crowd. Also, Keyport Print Shop, I'd like to thank them for all they do, making our 8.5 by 11s at all the shows, and our signs, and our 11 by 17s, pretty much everything they do for us. Okay, so let's start off at the beginning. And also, I want to say one more time, rest in peace, Outlaw Ron Bass. I'm very sorry we couldn't do business with you, my friend. Rest in peace. Getting back to the beginning. Okay, very simple. I think we're in about season 2 here at the Indie Super Show. At the time, I think we were the only show on the network. I think we were going by Damage 365 Radio, not even the Indie Super Show yet. And through Facebook, I saw Valkyrie Women's Professional Wrestling. And, you know, we were pretty much a season and a half into just covering wrestling. We were covering pretty much just JCW religiously at that time, and we had just gotten into Warriors of Wrestling. And I didn't know Kris as the referee from Warriors of Wrestling. After obviously conversation with him regarding Valkyrie, I was able to put 2 and 2 together and figure out he was the same guy, and introduced myself to him at a Warriors of Wrestling show as the guy talking to him about Valkyrie. The whole purpose of us contacting him about Valkyrie was we wanted to help promote his product. Okay, he was running his product out of Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, at the Woodbury Heights Recreational Center, which is a great location and it's very hard to draw. It's a huge location. It's beautiful. But it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, literally in the middle of nowhere. It's 2 hours south of me, and I'm the northern point of the Jersey Shore. It's out there, okay. But what he was doing, basically, he was piggybacking talent that was used on Saturday's WSU show, which is the women's show for CZW. And while these ladies were here for the weekend, he was going to piggyback that show and put his show on Sundays using, whatever talent that he selected from them group of women from the WSU show. Nyla Rose, Angel Dust, at the time the champion Casey Carlisle, Catherine Belmont, Debbie Ann Long, Jabonso Jesse Brooks was on that show. Julia Smokes was her manager. Jay George was a manager. I mean, there was a lot of talent on these shows. It wasn't a lack of talent. So we get all the way down there. We get a table, and anybody knows us. We pretty much didn't even sit at our table. We were kind of walking around trying to get different vantage points of the match, and part of covering it is trying to watch as much of it as possible. Sometimes you can't remember everything, but whatever. So we tried to help him with every aspect of the show, meaning pre-show advertising. We had numerous people from his show. We actually gave him 2 separate weeks to have his talent come on and promo their match and the event. So the first one we had was I think it was Little Genie. I forgot who she was wrestling, but they came on. They did their thing. Little Genie actually didn't even come on. Oh, Ashley America, that's what she was wrestling. And Ashley America came on, did her thing. Little Genie wasn't available. We played that into the whole storyline, whatever. And it was a nice interview, nice promoting of the product. And we moved on to another week where we had Catherine Belmont and Casey Carlisle on the show. So that interview as well. Catherine Belmont, kind of the goth, dominatrix kind of scary character, where Casey Carlisle was more of the loud, obnoxious heel champion, and which their match was awesome, by the way. Very physical, awesome, probably the best physical female match I've ever seen. But like I said, we tried to help there. We put it all over Facebook, whether it was on our damage page or my personal page, my helpers pages, whatever we could get it out there. We tried to. We spread the event page to as many people as possible. But the problem was that we were the only ones doing it. Kris Levin himself, a guy who owns the company, is doing nothing. He didn't hang a single poster. He would hand out a couple of, he would put the posters on the seats at the WSU show the night before. The night before? Dude, you need more than 24 hours to promote your show. Okay? You should have been all over Woodbury Heights and neighboring towns and plastering pictures everywhere. Okay? He didn't do any of that. Okay? There was very little mention of it at the Warriors of Wrestling show. I don't know if that was because of him or Joe, but he didn't even hand out anything. He could have, had someone standing outside and handing them as they were leaving, handing them a poster. But he didn't do that. He didn't even invest using Facebook's advertisement, where you can run a sponsored ad for as little as $50. And you could have had an ad playing on all your friends' pages for a month. Did none of that. So needless to say, what do you expect? You go to the show, Woodbury Heights. Now there's a chance of snow, and less than 75 people show up. I would probably say about 50 people showed up. Not counting, people that work there and people that are workers. That's not acceptable. That's not even going to pay for your talent. So, I don't know what he did as far as, taking care of, whoever he had to pay. But for a guy who claims that he doesn't cheap out on talent, that he won't ask somebody to take less money to do a show to spite talent, that's a very stupid and bad way of doing business. And now you know why Valkyrie Women's Professional Wrestling is no longer around. He can give you all the excuses he wants that his money mark, Adam, had family issues and wasn't able to designate time to the product anymore. You don't need a money mark. You're going around calling other people a money mark, but yet you're blaming your money mark for your company not lasting. So you're being a little hypocritical, don't you think? Okay, but that's where it all started. Okay, and this is before I was bringing in any wrestling talent and doing any of those conventional things and bringing talent to any wrestling shows. So when I started, which was around the end of season 3, going into season 4, because this is our third full year doing this. We're in our fourth year, actually. I started to hear rumors, and I guess you could say, gossip from the locker room, that certain people that I was bringing to Warriors of Wrestling shows, he was bad-mouthing. That he thought it was an insult that they would be paid and promoted over Warriors of Wrestling talent that are already there. Even though any independent wrestling show is going to promote on their posters any outside talent. I mean, that's not even, that's a no-brainer. If you bring in Scott Hall's going to be on a poster. If you bring in Kevin Nash is going to be on a poster. You bring in, Allie from TNA, she's going to be on the poster. Now, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I know that. It's freedom of speech. This is why our troops fight for our freedom. One of them is speech. And you know what? If that's all it was, just freedom of speech, and this was just, your opinion, then fine. But this is not an opinion based on credibility. This is an opinion based on being bitter, being jealous that you had your shot. You had Valkyrie women's professional wrestling. You had wrestling BAM. You failed with both of them. So why are you trying to shit on the parade of someone else starting something that you were not successful doing? You should be supporting women's independent wrestling, not shitting on the people that are trying to make it happen. So when these gossip and these hearsays started turning into actual physical messages that I was able to see and read, to me it was astounding. I was like, are you kidding me? Here I thought I was friends with this guy. Here I thought that I had this respect with this guy. And he is not only disrespecting the talent that I am bringing in, he's disrespecting me. He's disrespecting my coworkers. He's disrespecting my brand. And you can sit here and laugh all you want and say, oh, you're bringing in wrestlers. What brand? My company is a legit LLC, a legal liability lending company. Okay, I am a legal owner of this company. I have 2 legal partners of this company. Had 3, but now we're down to 2. And this is a tax-abiding company. This is what I do. I am a wrestling booking agent. That's what I do. You can bash it. You can laugh at it. You can compare me to anybody you want. You want to say, oh, you Eric Sims? No. I am Kevin S. Nasta. That's who I am. I don't try to be nobody else. I try to take the best talent available that we can afford, whether it's talent or talents, and put them out there for our fans. And yes, we have fans. We have loyal buying customers. Okay? And this is not my first rodeo. I have started, I have ran, and I have sold successful businesses, most that are still running. Okay? I didn't just fall out of bed and decide one day I was going to start a business. This is what I've been doing for over 40 years. This is what I've wanted to do my whole life. I wanted to run businesses. I wanted to work on my terms. So I'm not going to let some little male ring rat, I'm not going to say a rat isn't having sex with everybody, but a guy who hangs around the guys, wants to be one of the guys, wants to be compared to be one of the guys, but yet he doesn't wrestle, and he's a referee, and he thinks he has a lot more pull in the business than he should even be allowed to have. Okay? And this didn't just start this year. This started last year. Okay? When I've brought in talents like Amber O'Neal, and I brought in Allie from TNA. What was her name? Cherry Bomb. Everybody knew her as Cherry Bomb. She was at WSU, Shimmer, Shine. She's currently as Allie at TNA. He disrespected her and said that we shouldn't waste money bringing her in because he was mad at her because he booked her for a show. And the cheap bastard didn't offer to fly her here, offered to put her on a train. And her train broke down on the way here. And he was pissed off at her because she couldn't make the show. Because he wouldn't reach further into his pocket and buy her a plane ticket. So you weren't that worried about getting her here for your match if you put her on the less of the 2 ways of transportation that were reliable. So don't disrespect her because you made a stupid business call and it backfired on you. That's not her. She got on the train.